Hello and welcome to our first video on IV basics. In this video, we will focus on the two IV systems that you may encounter while doing drug calculations. So to start off, let me pull up this image. Now this shows us the two IV systems that we are likely to see. The image on the left, this is an IV system where the IV is running on what we call an IV pump. This little box that you see here is the IV pump. So in a math question, when you encounter an IV problem that tells you that it is an IV pump, your final answer is going to be mLs per hour. Let's look at the system really quick. So you've got the IV bag up here. You've got the tubing. Let's just label these. We've got bag, we've got tubing. This tubing then connects into the IV pump, and then the IV pump regulates the IV for you, and then the remainder of the tubing goes from the IV pump into your patient. So this pump regulates the IV, and when you set it, it's going to run at a certain number of milliliters per hour. Now the IV system on the right, this one, if you notice, does not have a pump. It just has the IV bag, and then it's got this is your bag. Let me try and get something on this. So here's your IV bag. Here's your tubing, and notice there's no pump, so this tubing goes directly into your patient. So in this system, since it's running on gravity, the nurse is going to manually count the number of drops, or count the number of drops per minute that the patient's going to receive. The nurse regulates this IV manually. So when you see a question that runs on gravity, an IV question, your final answer is going to be GTT per minute, and the GTT is nothing but drops per minute. Since there is no electric pump to regulate the IV, the nurse will do it, and therefore you will manually count drops per minute. So these are the two IV systems you're going to encounter. Now sometimes in the math questions, you're going to see terms such as flow rate. The question is going to ask you, what is the flow rate? If you think about it, what is flow rate? It's nothing but the rate at which the IV is flowing. So the question may say something like, what is the flow rate in mLs per hour? So that tells you that you're running a pump. Or the question might say, what is the flow rate in GTT per minute? So that's your clue that this IV is running on gravity. So again, depending on what kind of an IV system it is, that's actually the first thing you're going to ask yourself, what kind of IV is this? Is it a pump? If so, the answer is ml per hour. Is it gravity? If so, the final answer is going to be drops per minute. Thanks for watching IV Basics. I'll see you in part 2.